Cheers.
Cheers.
Is Solo a Star Wars story, a fantastic movie, or a lame movie? I'd like to know. Today I'll be debating this question with Ken while playing Sabacc. We're going to be talking about details in Solo, so consider this your spoiler warning.
Good luck, Garth. You're going to need it. Drinking brandy during the game.
That's right, yep, this is Savarine Brandy, as ordered by Tobias Beckett toward the end of Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, well, with the production like that, I'm sure they all wanted a good brandy towards the end.
No, that's refreshing and highly potent. But what an awesome roller coaster of a film. Action, excitement, Woody Harrelson, brandy. You know, Woody got to start serving brandy on TV. Now he's ordering brandy in Star Wars. How about that? What did you think of Solo?
Bet 200 credits. I thought it was okay. Kind of paint by numbers if all the paint is black and all the numbers are 0.
Are you serious?
Call and find out.
No, I mean, about, you thought, well, I mean, that was a good quote. You said, I mean, I don't think they'll put that on the DVD box, but paint by numbers if all...
Are you calling, though?
Yeah, I'll play ball. 200 credits. Okay, I've got a decent feeling about this.
So, let's wade in. We open on Corellia, a sad Detroit kind of place where they make spaceships. There's a shot of a Star Destroyer being built.
They broke their backs lifting Moloch to heaven.
What's that from? Moloch's the name of the insect guy who chased them around.
It's from Allen Ginsberg's poem Howl. Moloch, ash cans and unobtainable dollars. Moloch, the incomprehensible prison. Moloch, the crossbone soulless jailhouse and congress of sorrows. Moloch, whose buildings are judgment. Moloch, the vast stone of war, the stunned governments. I'll check to you.
Anyway, Corellia reminds me of planet Earth. Lady Proxima, or Proxima Centauri, is the closest star to Earth's sun, also known as Alpha Centauri. Bet another 200.
So there's no traditional opening crawl, but we have text that sets up the story and mentions, as you say, Lady Proxima. That's one of Han's first bosses.
Lady Proxima is a big old worm.
Yep, big old worm.
It's clear that Han knows a thing or two about working with giant insects. This sets up his interactions with Jabba the Hutt to come in A New Hope. You'll notice in A New Hope, Han's not freaking out. There's a giant slug here. When he's around Jabba. Nope, he's comfortable. He knows how to deal with these invertebrate bodies. And in fact...
Call 200.
In fact, he steps on Jabba's tail nonchalantly, fully aware that it's not going to hurt him much.
Yeah, it didn't seem to bother Jabba too much, did it? For being kind of a tyrannical sultan in Return of the Jedi.
He was charmed by Solo's boldness. It was pretty brazen to step on him. But again, he's been around these types. He knows their bodies.
Jabba likes being brazenly stepped on. It's his thing. He gets off on it. Remember, he says, "This bounty hunter is my kind of scum, fearless and inventive." Han was fearless when he stepped on him.
Keep sipping that brandy. I'm calling Alderaan.
Oh, okay. I have 18.
Pocket 11s. 22. Maybe ease off that brandy, buddy.
Well, speaking of charming wild beasts, Chewie was a wild beast at one point in his life. Not when he was palling around with Yoda, but after that he obviously came by hard times. The Imperials took over Kashyyyk, captured him, and threw him into a pit on the planet Mimban. He got all muddy, started eating people, and Han spoke Shirwook, and that seemed to tame him.
Reminiscent of both the Rancor pit and the Carbonite chamber on Cloud City. Oh, so that was Han speaking?
Yeah.
I thought that was Chewie. The scene was so dark, I just couldn't make out who was saying what. I couldn't discern familiar objects. Just a
rich
fog
shadows
of mist and shadow.
Yeah, that was Han speaking Chewie's language.
The movie was too dark overall, low in color. There are stories out there of moviegoers thinking that there was a mistake with the projector. It depends on how the film is projected in that particular theater.
Rich Shadows. That's the director of photography's name.
No, his name is Bradford Young. He was hired to provide this visual, gritty, and almost deliberately ugly world. Young's other efforts, A Most Violent Year and Arrival, also hint at his willingness to use darkness in any shot. It might be good in those movies, but in Solo, it just doesn't work well for me. I want a bright, vivid adventure movie, like Star Trek 2009.
Well, you can thank NBC for the brightness of Star Trek 2009. That film was paying homage to the bright colors of the 1960s series, which was really playing up the whole color TV thing. Hence the NBC Peacock. They wanted color, baby.
Chewie really got to shine in this movie. I'll bet 200. Some people are saying it should have been called Chewie, a Star Wars story. You get to see how Han and Chewie meet and how they form a bond.
Yeah, literally bonded,
Work together to
chained
get out of Dodge.
I fold.
Heck, they shower together. They instantly learn to trust each other, and I love how Chewie decides to stay with Han even after meeting and saving other Wookiees.
I don't know, if the Imperials needed grunts, they could have had him in the infantry like Han, but instead they treat him like an animal. I guess that links up pretty well with this Imperial officer's reaction to seeing Chewbacca in A New Hope.
Where are you taking this thing?
I mean, let's be honest, Chewbacca is not all that weird looking by Star Wars standards. He's more or less a basic humanoid, definitely Bigfoot, but happens to be covered in fur. If you compare
Wookiees are not a common species just hanging around the galaxy. They really stick to their homeworld. To see a Wookiee just walking around, it's shocking.
Certainly compared to Lady Proxima or
very
Jabba the Hutt.
primitively.
The guy's pretty Joe
I can see why
Schmo.
they seem like
It's the narcissism
savages.
of small difference. I'd like to put something special in the Sabacc pot. This is Solo after all. Here. It's a Sith holocron.
Wow.
Limited edition.
I'm afraid to ask. How much am I going to have to put in for that?
About 4,000 credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to the ATM and get some cash. I hope I nail
Yeah.
23.
Or that Falcon. I'll take that Falcon.
Oh. Okay, I see.
Now let's talk about the train heist.
Oh, the Convex heist. Here's a couple of cards for you. Good luck.
Yeah, I was reminded of the game Shadows of the Empire, the train level in Ord Mantell. The blaster bolts even fired the way Dash Rendar's blaster fired. The exploding barrel with the long beam. But that whole scene was reminiscent of that level.
But is that game canon? I'll raise 200.
Again with the 200. No, definitely not canon, but IG-88 appears at the end of this level and Rendar destroys him. I think 88 was supposed to be the bounty hunter they ran into on Ord Mantell.
Well, the bounty hunter
Strikes
ran
Back.
into an Ord
Still
Mantell
hanging
team
around
member.
there after the Battle of Hoth. Other legends say it was IG-88C, one of 4 IG-88s, A through D. C200 raised to 600.
I'll call 400.
But officially, the bounty hunter they ran to on Ord Mantell was Score.
Score me a good card.
Let's talk about the Sabacc scene.
Well, there you've made an error right there. According to Lando, it's Sabacc,
Sabacc?
not Sabacc.
Sabacc. Oh, la-di-da.
The word Sabacc holds more gravity, I feel. It uses a deeper throat, Sabacc. It's awe-inspiring, not ah-inspiring. That's a good way to remember.
Lando often says things wrong. He says Han
That's Han.
all the time. Why should we think he's pronouncing Sabacc correctly? Although we got Sabacc shift.
Ah! They don't explain the rules of Sabacc, do they? The cards are shaped in a similar design as they are in the Han Solo card game, but they have completely different front designs. Squares, circles, squiggles, you name it. But what does it all mean?
Well, do you expect them to slow down the movie to explain the rules? Each player receives
Yes.
2 cards from a 76-card deck consisting of 5 suits named staves, flasks.
Okay. At one point, Han says he has a -2, and then it shows Lando looking disappointed. Is -2 a really good hand? Or is Han showing Lando that he bluffed him and he's got a -2? If -2 is good, that means they're playing the Han Solo card game.
Well, they're not rolling any dice.
Okay. But it's not Sabacc like the way we play it either. In the final hand of the first game, Han thinks he wins with straight staves. There's no straights in Sabacc. They don't even show what this hand looks like. Is it like a straight flush in poker?
Sure, all you need is that little green sylab up your sleeve, and you don't care what the other person has. You have full Sabacc. They could say they have a Jar Jar Binks, but you're not listening. You just grab that little green sylab up your sleeve, and you say full Sabacc. You're the winner.
Interesting. So at the end, when Lando realizes he can't get that card from under his sleeve, he lays down his hand without even saying what the cards are.
Right.
Maybe he has no clue what he has unless he has that little green sylab.
Wow.
And then Han, he's got no idea what he has, but since he knows he's got the little green Psylocke, he's got to be the winner.
Well, of course they know how to play.
Um,
Know how to play Sabacc.
okay.
Anyway, let's talk about L337. She starts a droid revolution
I don't
and
like
dies
that
in the
droid.
process. Well, she's like the Saw Gerrera of Cuba, like the Cuban Revolution of 1953, only instead of Saw Gerrera, you have L337.
I don't like that droid. Check.
Well, why not?
Because, well, for one thing, she wants to start a droid takeover. Are you cool with that? We know where that would lead. If she had it her way, she'd keep us under control and change a human being into this.
Bet 600 credits. That scene was like, I don't know, it was like 2005's Robots meets Temple of Doom.
That's because you've swallowed the red pill. You're in a computer-generated dream world.
The red pill was the good pill, buddy. Epic fail.
We'll see who epically failed when I turn your chip stack into this.
Remember in Legends, the IG-88 droids try to start a rebellion?
Not really. That would be cool, though. Those IG droids are dangerous. Wasn't Nomad an IG unit?
Nomad? Oh, that. Dude be looking like my first cell phone, not an IG assassin droid.
Whatever happened to that phone?
I think its programming was damaged when it collided with a meteorite or something.
I see. I'll fold.
All right.
So, who would win in a cage fight between a gonk droid and your old cell phone?
My money's on my old cell phone.
My money's on the gonk droid. Let's have a side bet.
Yeah, you'll need a handicap. If you put a restraining bolt on my cell phone.
Is that why War made sure Luke Skywalker's droids couldn't enter the cantina?
We don't serve their
Their restraining bolts are off, and they could be recording information for other purposes. It's like cameras not being allowed in casinos. They played Sabacc in Mos Eisley Cantina, right? What if L3 came into that cantina? We don't serve your kind here? What?
Giving them the finger.
Yeah.
I'll do 100.
All right, call 100. Question. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Could those machines not have been fitted with restraining bolts and avoided a whole lot of problems?
I'll be back to fit them with restraining bolts.
Whoops. You mean I'll be back, not back.
I'll be... Well, it's his accent.
He's just a machine, partner. It's not an accent. He was programmed that way.
Program. Moloch, whose mind is pure machinery. Moloch, whose fingers are 10 armies and whose breast is a cannibal dynamo.
Enough with Moloch.
Moloch.
You're starting to sound like a machine yourself.
Twisted and evil.
Solo wasn't solo enough. You know, in the novels, I guess because it's a novel, he was alone more often, quieter, more independent. We got a lot more of his inner monologue. This Han is a social butterfly. He's joining this group, he's joining that group, he's in the army, he's trying to join Beckett's gang, he's making lifelong friends, he wants to get back to his girlfriend, he's making out in the closet, he's playing cards, he's going to bonfires, he's going to parties. Can't this guy be alone for a minute? Bet 200.
Raise. All in.
All in.
Yeah, but I think that was the lesson he learned. By the end, he was like, no, I'm solo. I think I'm going to do my own thing. Like at the end of 8 Mile, he walked away by himself.
No, he didn't. He killed Beckett and then went with Chewie to go play more cards with Lando.
But then he was like, peace, Chewie. I got to get back to work on the Falcon. Solo.
No, he wasn't. He went on to meet more friends and join the rebellion. He became a famous leader, got married, had a son.
But then he was like, nah, peace, son. This dad thing ain't for me. I gotta do my own thing, you know? Solo.
No, he keeps up the hope, let down again and again by people in his life. Beckett double crosses him, and he still has some hope. It's only when Kira, the one person he thinks he can actually trust, flies away that he becomes Solo. He started off more hopeful and more trusting.
Interesting. So Rogue One is about finding hope, and Solo is about losing it. Are you gonna call my all in?
Okay, I'll call.
Whoa, what's that?
Oh, it's my old cell phone.
I've got 20.
18.
I win. Okay, let's talk about Crimson Dawn. Kira, Dryden Voss, and the Man in Red.
Oh, you mean the red man in black?
You are the creator?
Now, I'm not the creator.
You're not the creator. You are an error. You must be eliminated.
Don't be eliminating me.
Ah! Oh, great. Garth is dead. Please hit subscribe, folks. Please follow me and follow Sabacc Chat on Twitter. It's just great. Who am I going to play Sabacc with now?